Once upon a time, in a grand estate surrounded by high wrought iron fences, lived a cat named Milo. Milo was a creature of exquisite beauty, with fur as white as fallen snow and eyes like polished emeralds. He lived a life that most would envy. He slept on silk cushions, ate from porcelain bowls, and was groomed daily by hands that smelled of expensive lavender. To the world, Milo was the luckiest cat alive, the prized jewel of a wealthy household. However, Milo's life was not his own. Every movement he made was designed to please his owners. If they wanted him to sit still on the mantelpiece like a statue for hours, while guests admired him, he did so, despite the cramp in his spine. If they dressed him in uncomfortable velvet collars that itched his neck, he endured it with a silent purr. He suppressed his natural instincts to hunt, to climb, and to explore the muddy woods beyond the fence, fearing that a single speck of dirt on his paws would disappoint those who provided his comfort. He had traded his wild heart for a golden cage, living entirely for the approval of others. Lambda. One evening, a stray tabby cat with tattered ears and a scarred nose perched on the fence. The stray looked at Milo and laughed. "Why do you sit there like a porcelain doll? The moon is high and the forest is calling." Milo looked down at his pristine paws. "I have a responsibility to be beautiful," he replied. "They need me to be perfect. If I leave or if I get dirty, I am no longer of use to them." The stray shook his head. "They don't need you, Milo. They need a decoration that breathes. If you disappeared tomorrow, they would simply buy another white cat to sit on that cushion. But you only have one life, and you are spending it being a shadow of their expectations." Bland. That night, a window was left slightly ajar. Milo stood on the sill, looking back at his silk bed and then out at the dark, unpredictable world. For the first time, he jumped. He ran through the grass, he climbed a tree until his muscles burned, and he chased the shadows of the night. By morning, his white fur was matted with burrs and stained with gray mud. He was, by the household standards, ruined. Maund. When he returned to the porch, his owner didn't see a beloved companion. She saw a mess. "Look at this filthy thing," she cried. "He's no longer fit for the parlor." Within days, as the stray had predicted, a new, groomed cat sat upon the silk cushion. Milo, watching from the garden, felt a brief sting of betrayal, but it was quickly eclipsed by an overwhelming sense of relief. He was no longer a masterpiece to be maintained. He was a cat, free to be dirty, free to be loud, and finally, free to be himself. The story of Milo teaches us that living for the approval of others is a debt that can never be fully repaid. When you shape your life around what others expect of you, you aren't actually living, you are performing. Like Milo, we often suppress our true colors, our dirt and our scars, because we fear losing the silk cushions of social acceptance or external praise. We become terrified of disappointing people who are often only in love with the version of us that serves them. True loyalty should never be a synonym for self-destruction. You owe it to yourself to be authentic, even if that authenticity makes you unfit for someone else's parlor. The moment you stop living for the applause of the crowd, the moment you start hearing the music of your own life, it is better to be a filthy version of yourself in the wild than a perfect version of yourself in a cage.